Coming up on today's Code Bet Daily, we are all over the best player props, game picks, and best bets for today, tomorrow, whenever. I'm looking at a whole mess of tomorrow's NBA playoff games. They are tastier than your grandma's yo-yos. Stats guy, what are you looking at?
A Leeds goal scorer in the EPL and some clay court tennis in Germany.
It's on the clay. Cool.
100%, yeah.
Alex, what about you?
I'm glad that Stats Guy figured that out. I'm telling you which AFL team is absolutely gone, and I get the segments mixed up because, well, it's Monday.
Good job, Kane Corns. All right, that's it. We're going to be getting stuck in. It's awesome. It's Code Bet Daily. It's real good. Welcome to Code Bet Daily. It is Monday, April 17. Oh, how's your Monday there? It is episode 90, and we haven't been fired yet. Not yet. I mean, it could just be coming at any moment. We don't know. I'm your host, Jaymz Clements. This is Code Bet Daily. I'm the editor of a very good website that is actually called Code Bet. You can find that at codebet.com.au. All your betting comparisons, odds comparisons, analyses. Had to get the NBA odds fixed this morning. That all actually worked. That's good.
That's good.
Guys, I'm joined, as always, by the Pontiffs of Punting. We've got the Alex Donnelly over there down the bottom at the moment.
The Alex Donnelly.
Yeah, the Alex Donnelly. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm here. I can't believe I'm actually jealous of something that happened in Adelaide, but Gather Round looks supremely cool.
It looked awesome,
Can we just put Code Bet in for next year and actually not try and plan out the week of this next year?
100%.
Yeah. I think we might be there. We might just go there now and wait for 12 months.
we actually do need to find our social guy because he has not been cited or heard from, so it's a worry.
Leo has not resurfaced. We might have to actually send Liam over there to bail him out. So
I'm happy to, yeah. I'll see how I go.
That's the voice of the stats guy as well. Liam McAllion, what's going on, Liam?
I'm here. I'm pumped by my Celtics. Got off to a good start in the playoffs. That's why I got my Celtics hat on. Yeah, so that's all. One of my teams are winning.
I was going to say,
is it true you can't walk though?
Yeah, I can't walk. I'm in the study here. I reckon that's the furthest I've walked in 3 days. So from the couch. So yeah, it hasn't been good with my ankle.
What happens when you get into street fights on the main streets?
Yeah. I've still got my right foot, so it's all right. Karate Kid style. I'll take some people out. It's all good.
Crane kick. Let's go. All right. What are we doing? Code Bet Daily. This is Code Ankle Breaking Daily, I guess.
Code Third Div Daily.
Checks out. Code Bet Daily is what we do every single day. Codes, betting, daily. It says it on the tin. I mean, I shouldn't have to explain it, but here we are. What am I looking at today? All playoffs. NBA playoffs start on the weekend. I'm excited. I don't know about you, gentlemen, but I barely left the couch all weekend. It was absolutely...
I didn't.
That tracks.
Definitely didn't, and
I did for 5 minutes in a footy game, but that's about it.
So we look at player props, game picks, best bets. I'm just going to stick with the NBA playoffs. 2 awesome games tomorrow, 2 game twos. I'm just going to break those down. Liam, what about you?
Yeah, I'm having a look at some of the EPL in the morning and some tennis in, I forgot where it is actually, but yeah, I'm having a look at some tennis.
Somewhere in Europe.
Stuttgart, sorry, in Germany, in Stuttgart. That's what I meant.
I thought
on grass. On grass.
Hey, there you go. A bit of grass court as opposed to the clays.
Yes.
And Alex, what about you?
Yeah, I'm looking at the same EPL game as Stats Guy, looking at the rundown, some Champions League, and I'm going to make a big call about the AFL, which may not be so big after the weekend, but we will see.
Is it as big as Kane Corns' head is? His tiny eyes. So.
It won't be as controversial, and it won't bring like thousands of people trying to, call me an absolute moron, which is more than usual, but,
Yeah, you've only got us calling you an absolute moron. So, that tracks. In terms of Kane Corns, it's like, it's pretty crazy to be like, hey, now I've incited everybody to yell at Jason Horne-Francis.
Oh, now you're saying, don't do that to him.
But also at the same time, I'm going to start yelling about Harry Sheasel taking kickouts and saying that he's overrated and his stats don't count. But you know what? Leave kids alone because it's mean. Hey, Kane.
He's such a dick.
Take your own. Whoa, Stats Guy swore. First swear word.
That's not a swear word.
Yeah. Take your own advice, Kane. Seriously. Like, you're a flog.
The entire vibe of going, here's this very, very, very narrow point, and I'm going to blow it up to something big. It's like, no one cares. It's literally you. Shush. Anyway, let's get into it. It's basically me talking about the NBA, but anyway. We've got 2 games tomorrow. I'm going to give you one for both. This is a big one. I talked about game 1 for Sixers Brooklyn the other day, especially I broke it down pretty deep on NBA Australia. That was one of the sort of more interesting series that people are not going to talk about, right? Because you look at it and go, it's Philly. They were very good. It's Brooklyn. they're not very good because they traded away Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, but they do have Mikal Bridges, hello, and a bunch of three-point shooters. Now, the tricky part is they're playing the Sixers, and you go, cool, they got a big man, Joel Embiid. He's going to dominate. Didn't dominate game one. Didn't have to. They hit a bunch of threes. I think it was a postseason record for the Philadelphia 76ers to do so. In a surprise twist, stats guy, no Ben Simmons on that team now. So
no, well, he's not really on any team.
But point being, I expect this to flip the other way. This game, I think Embiid dominates, and I'll get to it in a second. But I think on the outside, Brooklyn, it's an avalanche.
Ooh.
So I really like the price for Embiid to have a massive, massive game in this one. $4.20 to go 40 plus with Bet365. I think the big man feast, they sort of realized that he could get to the line pretty much any time he wanted to in Sunday morning's game. And I think he'll do the same thing this time around. But I think he'll just keep going and he'll just go large. He might try to throw in a couple of threes because I think it'll be desperation stations at points for this Sixers team. Second game at home, I think there'll be some big adjustments by the Nets. I think Embiid they'll just basically give the old green light to Embiid. Stats guy, this is how you do it. Sometimes you go, we're going to shut down everybody else. Embiid, do your thing.
That's what a lot of teams have done against him, yeah.
And see if he can beat you all around on that court. And I think he'll drop 40. I think the Nets will sneak this one out. So game two, you got Warriors-Kings. Awesome game.
That was the game of the weekend, yeah. That was awesome.
6, De'Aaron Fox down the stretch, absolutely take over. The Kings actually won that despite the Souvlaki King, Domantas Sabonis. I'll have the combination meat. Thanks, Domantas. Cheers, mate. And he had literally the worst offensive game of the entire season.
Worse than Samson Ryan on Friday night.
He didn't play in the NBA, Alex. So
yes, but Samson Ryan dropped every ball that came near him except for one.
Souvlaki King actually scored some points, but it was literally his worst shooting game of the entire season.
He was off, yeah.
He's a triple-double machine. We know that. And what we saw, though, he was absolutely dominating the boards in game one. And I think he can do that again. And I love the Souvlaki King to go for a triple-double. It's weirdly priced. I found it at $7.75 at Bet365. It's $4 at other places, which is chaos, which is horrible value for a triple.
You got to get at least $7. Yeah,
it's $7.75. I'm all over that because we've seen him sling the ball around. The assists are usually not too much of a problem. One of the best passing centers in the NBA. The triple-double is just calling to me for the Souvlaki King. The craziest part is I don't think they'll get a better and improved performance from the Souvlaki King, but I think they'll end up just losing because I think the defense kicks in a bit. But I think he still gets his numbers. I'd be actually a little bit hesitant on the points, rebounds, assists as well because I think that'll be well over the sort of 40-plus range, 42 or so. I think he sort of just does the old 15, 12, and 11 sort of triple-double, which is sort of just actually sneak under. He's over-under with the PRA. So I'd still go the triple-double. I think that's the best value. Love those player props. And if you want another big one, you can just go like Steph Curry to go for, just go bang and have a really big game. He looked good. He struggled in the first half, then got absolutely on fire as he does. And just sort of you turn around and go, hang on, has he hit 6 threes?
Yeah, he does. They love doing that in the second half. This third quarter, the Warriors, they're crazy like that.
So I'd look at Steph for 35 plus and at least 5 threes as well. So there you go. Some nice taste. Oh, best time of the year. NBA
your Kings hat on, I just realized as well. Yeah.
I do have my Kings hat on. I am all in. I've got Deli behind me. You can see him over there, Deli. Love this. Best time of year. Stats guy, what have you got for your player props?
Yeah, finishing off match week 31 in the EPL, Leeds taking on Liverpool. I'm looking at Jack Harrison. He's been a bit underrated the last couple of months for Leeds. He's scored 3 of his 4 goals this season just in the last month. Leeds have scored at least 1 goal in their last 5 games. Now, they're still struggling in that sort of relegation zone, but they've won a few games in the last month, so they're just above it at the moment. They actually beat Liverpool 2-1 in their last meeting at Anfield, which was a big shock. I think Liverpool might turn it around, but I think
it was the first ever game Virgil van Dijk had lost in the Premier League at Anfield.
It was unbelievable, that game. I think Liverpool turned around, but the defense has looked pretty shaky. They've conceded 6 goals across their last 3 matches. So I think Jack Harrison to score is really good value here at $6 on Bet365. He's a couple extra dollars on Bet365 than anyone anywhere else. So jump on that while you can. I just think his pace, his dribbling ability on that wing / left mid side can open up Liverpool here. And he's great value to score. So get on him.
That was like one of the first moments we realised this season that Liverpool might struggle, right? When they get beat.
As soon as you see something bad happen at Anfield, where it's like one of the hardest places ever to play, you know that, they're going downhill. So, Jack Harrison, $6, why not?
Love it. Alex, what about you?
Same game. I'm looking at Liverpool and Leeds. Leeds currently 2 points out of the relegation zone thanks to basically everyone below them losing on the weekend. So it's been a real good. They're just like, hey, yeah, you're all losing. That's not as much pressure on us against Liverpool this weekend, which is great. Ideally, a win or a draw for them is fantastic and gets them, a full game away from that relegation zone. But given the way that Leeds have leaked goals this year, I see goals coming, especially with Nunez, Salah, Gakpo. They've all looked dangerous. Even Bobby Firmino coming in off the bench a couple of times as an impact player has been scoring goals. But as Stats Guy said, Liverpool's defense, it stinks. Virgil van Dijk. He's, Virgil van letting in goals, and Trent Alexander-Arnold is quite possibly the worst right back in the EPL currently.
And he used to be, the best right back. I don't know what's going on with that.
He can't defend. That's his problem. He's more of an attacking winger than a defender. So, look, this should be a fun game, Stats Guy won't be awake, so I'll have to text him what's happened when he wakes up in the morning. Liverpool should win, given the way they peppered Arsenal's goals in the last half hour on the weekend. If they turn up like that, they will blitz Leeds, but they'll probably let 1 or 2 goals in anyway. So Liverpool and over 2.5 goals is $2.25 with Ladbrokes. Even the over 3.5 goals could be a decent bet. I think that was around $5 as well, because this should be a bunch of fun.
Nice one. Where was the player prop in there?
Oh yeah, I think you skipped your player prop there.
I've switched them around. Doesn't matter. We can get onto it soon. Okay, I was just rolling on with Stats Guy.
Talking about tune out, I'm like, I didn't miss it. I
was just rolling on with Stats Guy. It was just a nice little segue.
To be fair, I was talking about Leeds Liverpool just to keep it going. Fair enough.
Good stuff. All right. Speaking of which, match game picks. Here we go.
All player props.
Go for both. That's all right. Change it up for a Monday. It's fine.
I like it. Dyslexic Donnelly, they call him. Nets at Sixers.
I scrolled too far.
You want a total? You want an over? We're going over. I think this is what I talked about at the top. There's a big bounce back from the Brooklyn Nets just sort of hanging around. I think Philly slip into a bit of a, false sense of security. This is a team that loves to just shoot its own foot off whenever you give them the chance in the playoffs. They have won the last 5 straight, but I think the last 2 have gone over the total. In fact, the last 4 of 5 have gone over the total points between these 2 teams. I think Brooklyn get on an absolute roll and smoke a bunch of threes in this one. We saw Cam Johnson just heating up. You've got Seth Curry on the bench. You've got Joey Harris. You've got, obviously, Mikal Bridges, playing against his the team that actually drafted him. Where he played college, Villanova, right there in Pennsylvania. He was basically a hometown kid, and they traded him. This is going to be a big Mikal Bridges game. I think he nails a bunch of threes. He's not like a massive three-point shooter, but he can get rolling. And he's the sort of dude who can drop a 30-piece on your head as soon as you look at you. And you go, hang on a second, he hit 5 threes. Good job. Cam Johnson, same sort of vibe. And Spencer Dinwiddie is sort of the key here. If he can get rolling, he had a horrible game 1. If he can get rolling, this will definitely go over. So I'm just jumping on the over for this. I think where it sits is like 213 points, which feels very low considering it was, 122 last game. It was 121 to 101. So going the over, I think that's $1.85 the over with Top Sport. So not a giant great value one, but I'll still take the lower total. And in game 2, Golden State versus Sacramento. Now, you might think, Jim, aren't these the 2 highest scoring teams in the NBA? I would say yes. I think this goes under. I think we get a big Warriors defensive stand. I've just written about this for the paper tomorrow, and I do think the Warriors sort of learned a couple of things. Mentioned Suvlaki King Domantas Sabonis having his worst shooting game of the season. They were saved by De'Aaron Fox being absolutely unreal. I think we might see more Gary Payton II on him, the mitten, as opposed to the glove.
I love that. And that's so good.
I'm excited to see what they do. Like Malik Monk, he had 32 in game 1. If there's anything we know about Malik Monk, he goes, well, that was great, and then takes 2 weeks off.
He's not the most consistent guy going.
Sounds like Jake Stringer.
Consistency is pretty foreign to Malik Monk. I love him, and I love that he and Fox were like college teammates. They Malik Monk, bounced over from Charlotte, eventually team up, and they dominated. But I think the Warriors just put the clamps on them a little bit, and this goes under because the over-under is 240, which actually does feel pretty right for a team or 2 teams that average like 120 points in the Kings and like 118 for the Warriors. But I think this just slips under. It's going to be an awesome game, though. Can't wait. But I think your under is right there. It's $1.91 at the moment. And you can find that under at the $1.91 with Bet365 and Ladbrokes. Don't mind. I think you can find, I don't know what the price was on BetR, is slightly less. So there you go. Over, under, boom. Not nice. It's basically the opposite of what you'd think. So over for Net Sixers, under for Warriors Kings. Stats guy, what about you?
Back to Liverpool against Leeds in the EPL tomorrow morning. I'm sort of piggybacking on what Alex said about Liverpool. I think they could get a pretty big win here. They were extremely unlucky last weekend not to beat Arsenal in the end. They got 2-2 against the league leaders last week. They were 2-0 down, but they were just peppering the goals. So they've sort of come into a little bit of form. You got Salah and Nunez, who are sort of having an underrated season. They've got 34 goals combined in all competitions between them, which is, really good. I know they're 8th, but their attack is still pretty solid. Before the last meeting where Liverpool did lose to Leeds, they were unbeaten in their last 12 against Leeds. So I think they'll bounce back in this one. I just remembered about that 34 goals between Salah and Nunez. Haaland's got 32 himself, so which is pretty funny. But 34 between two people is really good. But just forget about Haaland.
A human terminator does not count.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. Liverpool need to improve their goal difference as well, just to get back into that top 6. So I think they'll play really attacking in this one. That's why I think Liverpool head-to-head and both teams to score. They'll probably play a bit attacking. They've looked poor in defence. So that Liverpool head-to-head, both teams to score is $2.91 on Ladbrokes. Get you a bit more value than the Liverpool head-to-head at $1.67. So I reckon it's going to be Liverpool 2-1. That's what I reckon.
That's awesome. I actually like that a lot. Yeah, as you sort of break it down, it's like Leeds. You talked about Harrison earlier, right? It's just like this idea that they might just sneak one in. They probably should.
Yeah, I think they should. They got a decent attack. You got Jack Harrison. Patrick Bamford has come back from injury a couple of weeks ago, who was a star for them last year. So, and you got Rodrigo even on the bench. They got a solid attack. So, 2-1 Liverpool would be my pick.
And that's what Alex sort of talked about in his player prop game pick.
Up the head. It's all right. Fine.
Talking about the defense, right, of like Liverpool. So it's just like
it's been poor.
So boom. Nice one. What about you there, Alex? Have you got a actual player prop now? All right, let's go.
Napoli take on AC Milan in the second leg of the Champions League. You can read about this in tomorrow's paper, and it'll be up on our website later this morning. I think Stats Guy's throwing it all together at the moment. Anyway, Napoli need to win this game. Well, I sent the stuff to you. You hadn't finished yet.
That's all right. I'm joking.
Napoli desperately need to win this game for obvious reasons, because if they lose or draw, they don't go through to the semi-finals. The biggest thing in the first leg, which was at the San Siro, was that Napoli didn't have their talisman in Victor Osimhen, who has scored 25 goals in 30 games across all competitions. It's come out this morning that he will be back and playing for Napoli this coming Wednesday morning at Diego Maradona Stadium. Look, he's the spark for this team. Basically, if Napoli to progress through, he needs to score. He's $2.10 to score anytime. I think that's a ripping bet, because he will be up and about, and it's this like you throw everything at this game because you're about 1 million points clear in the league and you've got nothing else but this. The Champions League is there for the taking this season. If they get through this leg, they'll more than likely win the semi, because they're playing probably Benfica, I guess.
Benfica or Inter Milan,
Benfica or Inter, who they've absolutely got the measure of. So, Victor Osimhen, $2.10 to score a goal. Let's go, Victor.
Yeah, get around him.
Napoli's now at $7.50 to actually win the entire thing as well. So if you think they can win this game,
they need to win 2-0 in this game.
Jump on and actually go, cool, for them to actually win the Champions League as well, because it's not going to get any better than $7.50. So.
No way, yeah.
Of course, as long as
I was filthy Osimhen didn't play the last league. I had the money, and then I was like, he's out. So
you didn't lose your money.
He's a big in. He's a big in, yeah.
All right, time for some best bets then, gentlemen. For today, tomorrow, whenever. I'm just going to stick with Net Sixers, Warriors, Kings. I love this one the most, though. The Nets team total, a.k.a. how many points do you think the Brooklyn Nets are going to score? 101.5, 101.5 points. They went 101 last game. As I've sort of broken down, I think we see a massive explosion from 3. I think we see Spencer Dinwiddie stepping up a little bit as well. But this is like the vibe, right? Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson can absolutely bomb it from downtown when they get going. And it's the sort of weird thing, like you saw it in game 1. It was there for just a little second where they kept them close. It was like 9 points at the half. The Nets were right there, and then the Sixers just sort of flexed them out of the game. I don't think this happens this time around. So the Nets team total, 101.5. That's $1.87 at the moment. You get that on Bet365. I also just simply love the double, the Nets plus 9.5, the over 213.5. I mean, if you're going to go the
That's good, yeah.
101.5 anyway, let's go. That's $3.75 with Bet365. I love that because I think even if the Nets end up losing game 2, I think they learned enough from game 1 to keep this one close. And as I've said, like if there's any team that is just more prone to shooting themselves in the foot than the Philadelphia 76ers playoff series,
last 5 years, yeah.
I've not seen them. So unless it was like maybe Phoenix against the Dallas Mavericks last year. Jeez. Oh, we had COVID. All right, cool. But either way, the Nets at the line is also just a good one. You can get that at plus 10 elsewhere. But I love that plus 9.5 and the over 213.5 points, $3.75 there. Warriors, Kings, same vibe. I've already mentioned that I really like the Warriors to give them the clamps. You want me to use these clamps that I use every day in my life? That's right. I think we'll see more of the mitten. Gary Payton the second. That's right. He's not the glove. He's the mitten. And I think we see the Warriors just slow it down a little bit and just control this game a bit more than they did in game 1. That went, 149 points, 126, 123. I like the Warriors to win this one. So you get the -1. That's $1.94 at the moment with Top Sports. That's basically just your head-to-head bet, right? So you can also throw in the double market too. As I've talked about in the second segment, the under. So you can go the Warriors -0.5 point and under 240.5 points.
Ooh.
$3.50, which I just really like. But Jimmy,
that's good
horrible on the road this year. Yeah. You know where Sacramento is?
Down the road.
It's like 90 miles up the road from San Francisco.
That's true.
They've been there for 2 nights now. They're just hanging out. This is not the road. They haven't traveled. They've just stayed there. Chilling, not illing.
Good call.
Give me the Warriors -0.5 point, under 240, $3.50 with Bet365. Love both of those. It's basically an amalgamation of the 2 bets that I've made earlier on and with some line action in there. It's pretty good stuff.
Good.
I really do like that team total, though, for the Nets, because even if they do lose, your 101.5 should be pretty
surely, yeah.
Right, stats guy, are you going to the grass of Stuttgart or the clay?
Well, as everyone knows, the women's tennis in Stuttgart, the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix is on clay. It's a big tournament in Germany.
Yes, because you knew.
Yeah, of course. Karolina Pliskova taking on Maria Sakkari, which is a mouth-watering matchup, one of the best women's matchups we've had in the last couple of months. Both ranked in the top 17. You got Maria Sakkari, who is 9th, and Pliskova, who is 17th. They have 3-3 in their 6 career meetings, which is really even. This is why it's screaming the overs over the 22.5 total games on Bet365 at $1.90 in this one. 4 of their 6 meetings have gone over. 4 of those 6 meetings have also gone the full 3 sets. So I really like the over at $1.90. And then I'm really liking Sakkari. She's more in her prime. She's got the power hitting. Pliskova relies on her serve a bit too much. She's probably the best server on the women's tour, but doesn't cover the court as well as Sakkari. Sakkari's got the speed, more in her prime. So I'm liking Sakkari head-to-head. Over that 22.5 total games is $3.25 on Ladbrokes.
I love it. I also hate how Stats Guy always makes me do maths when he does his tennis over-unders. It's like, So if it's 10 in the first set and then 10.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it'll easily cover. If you go to the 3 sets in most matches that are close, you're going to have like 6-3, 6-4. There may be a tiebreaker 7-6 will easily clear that 22.5 games.
I like it. Just out here, liking it, not mossing it. What about you there, Alex? What are you feeling about for your best bet?
Yeah, so I'm going to make a big call here regarding the AFL season. Richmond Tigers, they are gone. It is back to Ninthman and beyond. Obviously watching the game very closely on Friday night, given my beloved Sydney Swans gave them an absolute touch-up by 44 points. I did notice during the game, Richmond in the third quarter were awesome. We think back to the week before. Richmond, second quarter against the Western Bulldogs. They were awesome. What were they for the remaining 6 combined quarters? Crap.
Not much.
Not great. Yeah. Shea Bolton, too busy trying to push some people around. Get a meaningful disposal, son. Samson Ryan, learn how to mark the football. Dusty, don't know what you're doing. They are gone. Absolutely gone. If the Swans without the McCartans, Dane Rampy, Buddy Franklin, and Joel Embiid for 3 quarters can smack you by 44 points, what is a legitimate, really good full-strength team going to do to you later in this season? You still don't have Tom Lynch for possibly 12 weeks. Nan Curvis is out. Your ruck's got shown up by Peter Latham. So wait till you come up against, even if Jared Witt, plays for the Gold Coast in a couple of weeks' time. You may get rolled there because you're going to get dominated around the ground.
Dominated in the size,
So injuries, massive concern. They should win 2 of their next 3, though. Let's be honest. They do play Gold Coast and the West Coast. So currently 1-3-1. They could be 3-3-1. But then they've got Geelong, Essendon, and Port. So they could be 3-6-1 in about, 5-6 weeks' time. So a bit tough. Plus, there's another game in there that's a bit, 50-50 as well, given they do play the Demons on Anzac Day Eve. Like, given the way the Demons played on the weekend,
Demons should win that, yeah.
should see them bounce back. So we could be 3-7-1 after 11 games. You don't make the finals from there. Richmond, gone.
Interesting.
Nice. Yeah, I don't mind that.
There is that Gold Coast, West Coast bit. There is a bit where they play GWS and Freo.
Yeah,
and
but Fremantle with 2 rucks,
Just
I've looked really bad, but
I still feel like they do also have like Hawthorn West Coast games towards the end of the season as well as North. So it feels like there's at least
we beat them last
3 wins in like the last 3 wins in like the last 6 or so weeks, I think. And to miss the
if you're 3-7-1, it's a very hard way back. I'm obviously forecasting the disaster. They could win a bunch of them and be 5-something-1. But anyway.
I don't mind that. They haven't looked at their best and they've got a lot of injuries. So
my concern is that it's only $2. Like if it was a bit more, I'd be like, don't mind that. But yeah, at that short sort of price, you're like, just not really worth the future.
Well, they've gone from $11 like 2 weeks ago to win the flag. Now they're $26 to win the flag. You'll see in the AFL write-up coming to codebet.com.au later today. I'm genuinely finishing it up now.
Nice. Good plug. I enjoyed that. Right. There you go. Look, in terms of the Richmond missing the 8-1, I would sort of hesitate on it, but it's a good call because they have not looked good.
Lots of injuries.
I'm also more interested about how you feel about, just in general, the away gather round was awesome, right? But I do feel like specific types of teams on Adelaide Oval play really well, whereas other teams that probably, if they played at the G, they'd be feeling a bit better about themselves, or even Marvel, etc. Because I feel like you saw Adelaide like dismantling Carlton, you saw the Bombers beating the Demons, and it's like
but if that game was at the MCG, it would have happened as well. So
that's where I'd probably argue that the Demons probably would have had a bit more space to work with, and just that sort of quick passing vibe of Essendon would have fallen apart eventually. They also they dominated, just like Sam Draper and their ruckman just kicking a million.
Yeah, killed him. Yeah.
And then you saw it again, like what was the Port game? That doesn't really count. That was a bit of a weird.
That was wet. Yeah.
And gross. But I feel like there's a couple of weird results over the weekend. You sort of go, it was just a strange situation. Oh, well, obviously Richmond Sydney as well, right? So you have these weird games in a weird weekend where you're playing on a neutral venue, and I feel like you can take away a bit about the teams that won.
Yeah, the home ground advantage.
However, you're kind of like, not entirely convinced. So
the only team that lost that I'm sort of waiting and seeing on is Melbourne. I
reckon the same. Like, everything else
if Richmond were any good, they would have lost that game by 2 goals. The Swans kicked 7 goals in the pelting rain in the last quarter. Like, they just shouldn't have run away with it the way they did.
Yeah, I'll pay it. The good thing is we'll talk it all out on the AFL show later this week. Can't wait.
We will only break down 7 of the 9 games.
That's right, because we're only going to be going to the Monday, aren't we?
Yeah, with doubleheader at the MCG, Monday night, Tuesday, Anzac Day. Oh, this? Can I just get in early? Is this Anzac Day like the most anticipated Anzac Day match in like a long decade at least?
In a while.
Because they're both in form.
Was it third and fourth or something? Something ridiculous.
Second and third, I think.
I may be tipping us early call.
Nice one. There you go. That's it for Co-Bet Daily for today. However, we'll be back on deck tomorrow. We may or may not have the stats guy. He might not be able to you might have to put him down. He's got his
I'm going to chop off my leg. It's all good.
Karen and Mark will take him out behind the woodshed. Just say goodnight. Go to sleep. But anyway, we might end up doing this remote. You never know tomorrow. But either way, get around the show. On your podcast app, like, review, and star it. Comment. Check us a follow on all the socials as well. YouTube, Facey, IG, Twitter, TikTok. If you're on Twitch, go nuts. Send in any questions by the socials as well. We'll dig up Leo. We'll find him. Make sure that he's still alive and breathing. If it is in a Adelaide police cell, well, Leo, you can always call us with your one phone call. Anyways, what do we say? Thanks, Stats Guy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, cheers.
Thanks to Gerald for producing. He's had a big weekend. He's come out flying on the other end of it too. You love to see that. What do we say, Stats Guy?
Gamble responsibly.
Nice one. May all your picks come in. Happy punting. We'll catch you tomorrow. CodeBet Daily. Out.
chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.